Hello everyone and welcome to episode 3 of the series. Episode 1 and 2 have been absolutely blowing up in comparison. Today we are going to be actually making our killer seem like a killer, and we're going to be upgrading our ability system really nicely to really easily allow next episode for things like dash attacks. Not just click, you can like hold the button to charge it, and that's going to be really useful to make more interesting and interactive abilities. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to want a morph system. We're going to want to actually look like the killer, because if you remember our last episode, we'd spawn hitboxes in, but we wouldn't actually do anything. I'm just going to put in a character, just regular R6 character. Now, as I said before, my killer's going to be subject 0. There's a reason it's subject 0, because he's so easy to make. So, first of all, I would suggest coming over to humanoid and just disabling that humanoid for now. The display distance type, so you don't see the ugly name or the health. Next thing we're going to do, delete animate. We're going to be making our own, eventually, our own animation system. So, this is going to be completely variable on what your killer is. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and turn this guy completely white. That guy, scary face, there we go. And then what I like to do is psycho mask. That's not how you spell psycho, just do mask. And I'm pretty sure somewhere we have, yeah, it's my favorite one to use. It's so clean and it's just so simple, but it works really well. There we go. Stick that on his face. Look at that, easy. And I know this is like subject 0 has like a different mask, but honestly I like this one more. And then we can just do here, rename to mask. Here, then we can add a motor 60. Name is just going to be mask because that's what we're attaching it to. Part 0 is the head, part 1's the mask. Make sure this is can collide off, anchored false. There we go. So then if we just run it, the mask should just stay on his head. Yep, it does. And if he falls over, yeah, it falls with him. Okay, nice. There we go. That's quite literally all there is to subject 0. Probably give him a sword as well. Don't insert into starter pack. We literally just want the mesh. Rest of the scripts can go bye-bye. Orientation 0. Delete everything out of it. Delete the texture as well. No reflectance. White sword, there we go. And then just do the same thing. I highly recommend like a plugin for this. But if you don't have one, then I guess that's fine as well. There we go, now he's got a sword. Put it in here. And then we can go right arm and add a motor 60 sword. Oh, rename it sword. This is just like me going through my my thing. It's going to be different depending on what you want to do. (180), 90. Then we need to move this forward 1 point. Never mind. And then down 1. Crap. There we go. Then down 1, and then he has a sword now. Boom, done. Subject 0 is made. Or in fact, we should rename him subject 0. Now again, this is super basic because I'm going to focus on character design after we can actually like make a killer. So this is going to be our killer for now, and then once we've, you know, created a nice loadout kit, I guess, for this guy, we can go into more advanced models and so on. So yeah, here we go. This is going to be my killer, subject 0, but with a high poly mask. I don't mind that idea. Now, next thing I'm going to do is, while I'm in character designing, I'm just going to quickly make an animation for his slash. And now for this animation, I actually used the Forsaken Wikipedia, or fandom, or whatever the hell it is, to look at Slasher's M1, just because that was like a really good reference for what I wanted Subject 0 to kind of act like. And yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. It's obviously not the greatest, but I'm not a good animator. Now we've got them, we can go into our config of our killer, and we're actually just going to add quite a fair bit of stuff to it actually.
Yeah, what is this Diddy Blood doing on the calculator? Is blood?
Before we actually make our full killer logic, we're going to be splitting down. Before we make our killer logic, we're going to be splitting down our ability object into even more granular objects. So we're going to have a runtime object and an ability object. So what's going to happen is you're going to send a thing to the server saying, I want to use my slash. And then the server will tell the ability manager, this character wants to use their slash. And then the ability manager will tell the slash ability module, hey, use slash. And then the slash module will then check if you're able to use slash. And if you are able to use slash, then it will create an object that handles all the slashing stuff, and it will clear itself up. And then every time you slash, a new object's created which does the same thing. That's a lot, but that's what's going on, because that way it's going to be so much easier to add things like re-rushes, for example, on a dash ability like Void Rush. I'm specifically thinking of. That's going to be a pretty hard ability to code, but I'm going to try and do that with you next episode, just as a proof of concept of our very good ability system. Okay. Anyway, now we actually need to make our runtime, which we were just saying about. So, inside of abilities, we're going to have killer, and we're going to have another folder, runtime. And we're also going to have our ability base, which is going to be the base of all ability modules. Let's get to coding. Okay, that's our ability base done. Now inside of runtime, we're going to want our runtime base, which is going to be responsible for actually executing our logic every individual attack. Okay, that was quite easy. I think that's pretty much everything in this script. Oh, okay, so now's the interesting part, because before we just had one static slash script. Now what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to break it into our slash and our slash attack. So basically, when we're attacking, and then the attack logic itself, if that makes sense. If not, I'm sure you'll understand eventually. What, like after we create the code, then you'll understand what it does. So for now, we're going to change slash . This part's fairly lengthy, so we're going to have to set up some stuff before we do anything, because we're going to need quite a few things, I think. Oh, okay, that was a long one, but I think that should be done now. Next, we need to update our ability manager, because right now it's kind of like using our old slash instead of our new one. We're not going to need that anymore because now they handle themselves. Now we're going to need to update whatever uses the ability manager, which is going to be our ability handler. Just going to make that 20 for now. What we're going to do actually, we're going to put this into a separate function because there's like a lot going on here. We're going to update our ability client to actually work with our new system. Okay, now our slash attack's done. So if we have our server script, add a new one, morph service. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to have inside of shared assets, a folder called assets. These are going to be the shared ones. And we can take our subject 0 and put them in there. Actually, you know what? No, let's make it specific. Let's do assets, characters, then let's do killers. And then we can put the subject 0 in. Okay. Okay, so that's morph service done. But to actually implement it, we need to go to character manager and we need to do some editing here. Okay, now moving on from this, before we actually update the client to work with this packet, we're going to want to do a couple other things on the server first. First being editing our character module to better fit our updated values for like stamina and our custom killer stuff. Because right now it's just taking default character config, which we don't like. Okay, now in killer, we're going to, after we do this, now what we're going to need to do is we're going to want our animation controller, which is going to... Actually, before we do that, we probably don't even need that just yet. As you can see, we now have our killer. Obviously, he's not animated yet, and his abilities don't work just yet because we're still fixing that up. But eventually, we're going to have this guy, or whoever your killer is, running around instead of your default avatar, which will be very cool. Who's setting timer to... Okay, I think that's just me being a complete idiot. Ignore the UI errors for now. There we go. Okay, I need to fix that hitbox, but there we go. Look at that. We've got our animation working at least. Even if we don't have anything else, we've got the animation. There we go. Let me just fix the orientation of that hitbox quickly though. There we go. So it's kind of long, but like a tiny bit's meant to be inside. Like you don't have to have it, you can just move it forward and make it shorter, but I like it where I just have it a bit longer but have it inside the character as well. There we go. We'll fix the hitbox visuals in a minute. And as you can see, we have a blue head, which means we're being referenced correctly. So our server knows it's actually this character that we are, and we're not the old character from before, which is amazing. That's exactly what we want. And as you can see, you have a short wind up of about 0.2 seconds. But when I click, ready, you can hear the click. You can hear that there's a 0.2 second wind up. Like you can hear there's a like it's a bit delayed. The hitboxes are a bit delayed, which is what we want, because it winds up, the sword goes up, and then as it swings back down, that's when the hitboxes appear, which is perfect. Okay, we don't need that anymore. What was our error? Awesome. Right, now we're going to move on to our client to get the sprinting working again, and also our bars. So, before we do our bars, we're going to need our second bar. Holy bar spam. Okay. Right, let's take all of those and move our position on the Y down to like 0.8. Okay, maybe 0.6. There we go. Maybe 0.56. Yeah, okay, nice. And I forgot this isn't like 5. Yeah, we need that to be like 5. Okay. This is going to be our health counter. That's right, we're making health, even though we don't really need it right now. It's going to be very useful just so we have the ability to put it into our code for now. Health. Max health. Boom, okay. Let's go to 2D assets. Sword. Why am I searching up sword? Health icon. Yeah, that looks... nah. That's good enough for now. Again, I'm not concerned about how this looks. It looks a bit ugly. But so what? Who's gonna care? Not us. Not for now. We'll make it look really cool at the end. Well, actually, even though we don't care about the looks, I'm actually still gonna change this to a green bar. Just for clarity. So, oh, you can't see this, can you? Just change it to like any shades of green, really. Like just where your blue is, just don't touch anything and just click a green, like near the same axis as the blue. There we go. That was quite easy. Although that feels a bit bright, I might go like, yeah, that. Okay, cool. Well, that was extremely easy. And now we've got a health bar. So with all that, we're going to now revamp our Sprint client to be even better. is very important, yeah. Come to the HUD, reset on spawn, false. There we go. And now you can run. You can attack. Obviously we don't really have our animations yet. And also, as you can see, this is just completely inaccurate. This is not what we put. So let's fix that too. Here we go. Okay, we need to add killer config there. It should work now. Wonderful, look at that. 115 stamina, 1250 health. And that should be exactly what we wanted. 1250 health, 115 stamina. Awesome. Now we can sprint, we can attack somewhat. The hitboxes are still kind of cooked, but as I said before, we'll improve them once we have actually got more systems done. That's very cool. Now, one thing you'll be able to see is what is this ugly green bit around a red hitbox? That shouldn't be happening. And no, it should not. Oh yeah, one huge issue is that with the velocity right now, it doesn't care which way. You can go forward and it offsets more, which is what we want, right? This looks correct. But then, if you are going backwards, obviously you have more. If you're going to the side but really fast, you can see it actually offsets quite a lot, which is not right. We needed to offset going to the left, not offset going forward, because otherwise we end up with something that looks like it's lagging behind us in the corner. And way worse, way worse, if you sprint backwards, you double the offset, which then basically ruins the, doubling the offset ruins the hitboxes. Okay, time for the animation controller. Do the same thing for the looped animations as that slash. Just publish them and then put them into the config table. You should be done.